Hi, Danielle.
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful. So glad to see you again, my beautiful friend and gem.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so let's get started here. Welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV. And today we have an amazing story of transformation. We have the beautiful Danielle Mann, who is here, that is going to share with us her story of how she was a prisoner of her wheelchair for way too long, and how she basically was able to delete the little Pac-Man that was inside of her body, destroying it and making her weaker, more pained, more fatigued. And she was able to kick MS in the butt and regain her health and her vitality. So
Yes,
thank you, Danielle, for joining us here today.
thank you for having me.
So before we jump in and get started, can you share a little bit with our listeners? First of all, whereabouts in the world are you?
I live outside of Athens, Georgia, so where University of Georgia is.
Beautiful, beautiful area of Georgia, very green.
Very green. We got 6 inches of rain over this past weekend, but
Wow,
the sun is shining. Sun is shining today. So,
that's wonderful. Okay, so were you born and raised in Georgia, or is that just where you're living now?
no, ma'am, that's where I'm living now. I was born in Illinois and raised in Illinois. Spent several years out in Arizona, Utah area, and then been in Georgia the past 15 years.
Wonderful. So tell us, Danielle, tell us a little bit about your story and how it was that you discovered that you had this unimaginable condition called multiple sclerosis. Give us a little insight as to how that unfolded for you, what your life was before when you were happy and healthy, and then what things transpired that brought you to that awareness and that moment in time.
Oh, wow. Keep it brief. I was a very active. I rode dirt bikes, hunted, fished, all the outdoor activities, hiked. Um, Spent a lot of my career traveling. So I was very active, healthy. One day I was at my bathroom sink and brushing my teeth, and my legs went out from underneath me. I was paralyzed, admitted to the hospital, was there for, I believe, 17 days. Slowly gained back some of my mobility and movement in my legs. And I was then at that time told that I had multiple sclerosis. Now, that was on top of the fact that my back is caged from L3 through S1, from previous injuries and just from my youthful life when I didn't take such good care of my bones. So I was dealing with those issues. And I then, after getting that initial diagnosis of my new friend, they checked my eyes. I had optic neuritis. This was in 2014. I have a very aggressive, or did have, because it's past tense for me, I did have a very aggressive form of MS. And when I would have a relapse, it stayed with me. So over the course of the past few years, I had lost my peripheral vision. I cannot see out of the sides of my eyes.
Wow.
I have lost mobility. I've been in and out of a wheelchair 4 times. I was able to build some strength back up after 2014 fighting. Never got back to the things I was able to do. Would walk with a cane, walk with a walker, then I'd be back in the chair, then I'd work my way back out. And I was in my chair, and I'd been studying and trying to convince my doctor at the Shepherd Center in Atlanta that I needed stem cells. And every time I would go to see him, he would say that my MS was too aggressive. I was not strong enough to be off medication long enough to get stem cell treatments. And I was discouraged. I mean, you lose your whole life and your livelihood. I ended up retiring because of the MS from teaching. And then I was left at home, and all you do there is build on more depression upon more depression. And then I was introduced to these little miracles. And this is a miracle. Excuse me one second.
It's okay. This is a very emotional. You were able to save your own life through seizing an opportunity when you recognized it. So
right.
It's a gift.
I was riding around in my wheelchair to the point where I couldn't go to the grocery store unless I was in a chair, but I could walk around the house. I could walk little short jaunts. Then I found this patch and I started wearing it. I didn't have any hopes. They said it was a stem cell regeneration patch, that it would awaken my sleeping stem cells, and stem cell treatments were what I was looking for. So I started the patch. I had nothing to lose. I didn't expect anything. I was smart enough to write down a lot of my symptoms when I began the patch, because I really wasn't looking for any success. I was going to prove to myself that this patch was not going to help me. So I wrote down all my irritating things, like my vision. I have real dry eyes from the inflammation. I have to take drops. I can't focus for very long on such things. Like my energy. For years, I have been unable to get through a day without a nap in the afternoon. And I would have a cup of coffee at, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would sleep until my husband got home from work. Things like my right leg, my foot has not been able to hold itself up for years. I've had no feeling in my right leg from my mid-calf down for years. My digestive, I could go on and on. Long story short, I was introduced to LifeWave, and I tried the X39 patch, the stem cell regeneration patch, because I had nothing to lose. And I put it on, and I really, just being honest, didn't notice anything for the first few days until my husband said something to me that I wasn't sleeping when he got home from work, which was normal behavior. He would wake me up and then I would do dinner or tell him to catch what he can. I was awake. Dinner was prepared. This went on for a couple of days, and he obviously noticed and said something to me. Well, then I noticed it. So that was within the first 5 to 6 days. I noticed a change. I haven't taken a nap since.
Wow.
I started the patches. I've tried, trust me, but I can't sleep because I'm not tired. My body isn't tired. I can't get over the amount of energy and the lifting of my spirit that the X39 patch has given me. My eyes are clearer than they were. I'm not using drops anymore. Those drops were costing me $900 a month in a prescription.
Just for the one prescription, $900 for eye drops?
Yes, and that's with insurance. Yes. And I haven't been having to take them because I'm not having the inflammation in my eyes anymore. About 2 weeks in, I was giving up the chair. I was going outside. I started walking to my mailbox and back. Started with the chair, walking behind it. Went to the walker. Went to nothing. And now I can go to the mailbox and back and down and back and down and back. And I'm walking. I haven't walked since 2016 like I can walk today.
Wow.
I don't need support. I'm not having balance issues. Um, I can't explain it. All I know is I didn't expect it to work, and it's working. And I'm just so happy that I can't not tell people about it.
Well, this is absolutely remarkable, and I'm stunned to hear that just one of your medications, eye drops, you're paying $900 with insurance. That is absolutely cost prohibitive, because I'm sure they had you on a whole myriad of basically chemotherapy in essence when you have 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of medications. I can't imagine the expense that you were going through. And we all know that that takes an incredible toll on your liver and your kidneys, which is just, also very debilitating to the body. So tell me about, how did someone, share with you the stem cell patch technology? How did you find out about them?
Well, I have a friend. We weren't close friends, but we knew each other. And she called me and said I needed to listen to her. And
Wow.
when she said stem cell, I said yes. It didn't matter. I
Wow.
said yes. And I'm not looking back.
Wow.
And I tell the people that I know about it. And it's helped people that I've shared it with. So it's a great product.
It is an amazing product, and it is an amazing technology. And so for our viewers and our listeners out there who are watching this live right now, I want to share with you guys, I met Danielle, who was introduced to us by a mutual friend. When I met Danielle, I had no idea that 5 weeks before she was confined to a wheelchair. And there was a group of, would you say there was about 12 or 14 of us at that table?
Yes.
At that meal, at that breakfast that morning, and we were in the beautiful town of Orlando. We were at a stem cell convention. It just happened to be all ladies at the table. And I was just astonished when Danielle, who is just 2 or 3 people, over from me, mentioned the fact that she had been in a wheelchair just 5 weeks before, and that she had progressive MS, and that in week 3, she stood up out of her wheelchair. And I think you said in the 4th week, you actually ditched your wheelchair. You actually got rid of it, right?
I took it out of my Jeep on week 4. It's in the barn. I don't plan on having to pull it out. And I will add, at that breakfast that weekend, I never paid attention to the amount of steps I was making. I just knew I was walking a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
And when I actually checked my phone, I averaged almost 11,000 steps for 4 solid days. So those 4 days we were together, I averaged almost 11,000 steps, which is unheard of for what. And I didn't do it all at once, and I couldn't do it all at once today. But the point was that I did it, and I proved that I could do it. And I wasn't even trying. It just happened.
That makes me so emotional to hear you say that and you went from being in a wheelchair to walking 44,000 steps in 4 days is so incredible. So, my hope, my heart's desire, actually, hope is a beggar. That's what Dr. Joe says. We're going to say, it is my heart's desire and my intention that at least one person hears this information, that one person is live on this broadcast, one person that catches this on this replay. I will never take this down. And that one person's life can be affected, that they can restore, rebuild, regenerate, rejuvenate their body from the inside out with this little simple stem cell technology. I'm going to share with you, these are my stem cell patches that I use. And I know that yourself and many of us, we use not just one stem cell patch, but we use, I've worn as many as I think 8 or 9 patches at any given time, because, the stem cell patches, there's different stem cell patches for different things. We have the number 1 stem cell patch, which is X39, which is the mothership, if you will, of all stem cells. But then we have other stem cells that are more fine-tuned for specific things. like glutathione. Our glutathione patch, incredible master antioxidant, detoxifier, anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, a lot of us are not aware of. And I know that I specialize in neurological conditions. So I happen to know that one of the key things that a lot of people with MS suffer with is aluminum toxicity. When they have their blood test taken, oftentimes they have high levels of aluminum, and they're like, well, how is that even possible? And that's because we're not aware that, every time you have a beer can that's in aluminum, or a soda can, or a juice can, or anything that you're eating that's in aluminum, or like an aluminum pipe. How many pipe pans have you and I, eaten out of, over our lifetime, where the pies were baked in aluminum? Because we didn't know any better. We didn't know that aluminum was a neurotoxin, and that you get trace amounts of aluminum every time you cook or store or eat food or drinks that are in aluminum. And it was not too long ago that we had toothpaste tubes were aluminum. It's just in the last, I want to say maybe 10 years. I don't know exactly when they turned over the containers for toothpaste, and now they're some sort of plastic type of a container, but it used to be aluminum toothpaste tubes, and aluminum for all sorts of other ointments as well. And we still have ointments that are sold in aluminum tubing. So that's a huge stem cell patch that will help people. The master antioxidant glutathione, which is a nutrient that is created in the brain, which is a master antioxidant.
You brought up the glutathione. For me, when I saw that the glutathione was available, it meant something to me, because I was getting glutathione injections weekly. And anybody that's done them knows there's some cost expense to that. What I learned was 7.5 minutes after I went through that pain of that injection, it's gone. And with the glutathione patch that's available through here, it's increasing our levels by 300%, and it's staying in my body for 24 hours.
Yes.
And it's expensive.
Yes. And it's not expensive compared to, ladies and gentlemen, friends and gems, you can get stem cell therapy for $11 a day. That's like 2 Starbucks coffees a day. You can get a full courseware of anywhere from, I'd say, 5 to 8 or 9 patches, which is absolutely unheard of. We know that stem cell therapy is from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on what kind of protocol you need for your condition. I'm sure, how much were your glutathione injections every time you got those? Just out of curiosity.
Right under the $100 mark.
So every shot, and then it was only good for 7 minutes, because we know from scientific research, it's only in your bloodstream for 7 minutes. These little handy dandy stem cell patches that activate not fetal cells from an embryonic cord donor, or from a fetal, like an aborted fetus's stem cells. They're not donor stem cells. They're your own stem cells that are being activated, that were dormant, that are being turned back on. And your body is now being optimized. And the glutathione patch in particular, when you apply the glutathione stem cell patch, your glutathione levels go up 300% within 24 hours. And as you continue to wear your patch, your stem cell patches, every day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, that level remains adjusted for what your biochemistry needs. Absolutely incredible. What else, Danielle, can you tell us about the different things that you were doing and things that you learned and found out through the course of using these stem cell patches for the last couple months?
Another thing for me, and I didn't even pay any attention, was I've lost 4 inches around my waist.
Wow. So
and I've lost 23 pounds and have maintained, and I'm not dieting. What I think I found is that the nutrition I'm choosing to put in my mouth now is going to the right locations. And what I have found is I wouldn't call it cravings, but I don't have the same taste for the pastas and the breads that I so desire.
So you have said something. So first of all, because convention was a couple of weeks ago. So now this was 7 weeks ago that you started the patches, right?
And I've lost 4 inches since July 5th.
So you've lost 4 inches, you lost 23 pounds, you've gained an incredible amount of energy and stamina. You've improved your health. You got out of a wheelchair. Holy smokes. So I got to speak to, as a holistic care practitioner, I want to speak to the aspect of the weight loss, the 23 pounds you lost, and the fact that you don't have the cravings that you had before. One of the things that happens not only with food that we eat, but any supplements that we take, that has to go through our digestive process. And to the degree that your digestive enzymes, proteins, microbiome, microbiotics, and so forth, and your body chemistry, to the degree that that is in good shape and you have a certain amount of homeostasis, will be the degree to which you can digest and break down those enzymes and proteins and fats and lipids and electrolytes, because really food is the barcode. It's just a reducing agent for light. It's taking our environment, like lettuce, tomatoes, bananas, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever it is that you're eating, chicken, and it's turning it into electrons in our body. And so to the degree that your system is able to digest, and we call that methylation, which all methylation means is that if you look at a cell is actually shaped very similar to the stem cell patch. It's round in nature. And to the degree that that cell can absorb the nutrients and it can digest it so that the mitochondria, which are the little energy factories that are inside there, can actually take out the nutrients and say, okay, we've got this iron, we've got this copper. The copper is going to keep the stem cells on. It's going to take this light and it's going to, through the blood is the transportation system that it sends it out throughout the body, will determine how well you're able to be nourished by what you're eating and what you're taking as a supplement. So you're taking the stem cell patches, maximized and optimized your nutrition, because now your cells, because you have that cellular repair that automatically happens as soon as your stem cells get turned on. You had cellular repair, you had an increase in collagen, so any scar tissue got replaced. The scar tissue is now replaced with the original tissue around whatever organs inside of your body, and so on and so forth. So this is incredible. I had no idea. That's a lot of weight to lose in such a short period of time. 4 inches. That's huge.
But part of it too for me was the patch gave me the energy. The patch gave me the ability to move again. So those 4 inches and that weight was assisted by the patch, but it would have never happened without the patch either, so some of it came from my movement that the patch allowed me to do. And and I didn't even notice it. And I'll add one more thing, I'm so thankful that Joanne Neal has told me about this.
Yes.
My husband was in the grocery store a couple of nights ago, and I have a service dog, and he had the shopping cart and I had the service dog. And he said to me during the story, he says, "You got to slow down. I'm not used to you going this fast."
Your husband said you got to slow down?
So when we finally got out to the car, he said, "Honey, I'm not mad at you," because I kind of got short with him because he was being slow. He says, "I'm not mad at you." He says, I'm not used to seeing you motivate so quickly."
That's incredible. Must have been music to your ears when you heard him say, slow down, because that's like the antithesis of probably what you felt and what you heard for years, for 7-8 years.
Well, he used to tell me to slow down in the wheelchair too, because I'd get it rolling really fast because I used a manual one, but this was on foot, so it really made me happy.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. So we have just a few minutes left, because I know you have another appointment immediately following this one, and I want to respect your time. And I just want to thank you and honor you for taking the time to be here. What are some things that you would like to impart with viewers right now that are looking at this and wanting to check this out? And, what are some of your words of wisdom, things that you've learned we know that the consumption of water, 50% of your body weight in water within a 24-hour period is really important. But what advice, what tips and insights would you like to share with us?
There's my water. I'm
Wow.
about halfway through for my day. Boy, you know what? I am so thankful again for Joanne Neal sharing this with me. Anybody that doesn't take a look at this, there's something wrong with you, because the science is there. There are so many people that have stories like me, that have more than me as far as a story, and you have nothing to lose. And that is not something, there's nothing. If it takes me off medications, if it helps heal my body, if it brings my body back in balance, then it's worth every penny spent. And I think, I heard someone say that it's criminal if we don't share this. And in all honesty, that man touched me when he said that, because it is such a wonderful opportunity for our own bodies to heal themselves.
Joanne, I can't agree with you any more than that. I heard Bob Campbell, which we had on this show last night, and he said the same thing. And so did Annie DeCoker, who we had last week, who she died, she flatlined twice, on the table in the hospital when she had she had not one, but two near-death experiences. I can't believe any human being could go through what she did twice, but she did. But it really is true. If you have something that can save another human being's life, it is literally the difference between life and death, sharing and not sharing this. And when we were at the stem cell convention, I think Danielle Delgado said it so poignantly, where she said, yeah, anytime you have fear or you don't share this technology, even the viewers here, you have a moral responsibility to share what you've been exposed to here, because maybe this doesn't resonate with you. Maybe you feel that your body is healthy enough where you don't need to do stem cells, and mind you, not everybody that does the stem cells, not all of them are doing it to restore their bodies. Some of them are doing it because they're Olympic athletes. We have athletes like Michael Phelps, who won the Olympics, 7 gold medals in swimming. We have the Stanford women's swim team who are on the stem cells. And 3 weeks after starting the stem cell therapy, 6 out of the 8 swimmers broke personal records and then went on to the Olympics. So the bottom line is that when you know better and you know that there's a possibility that something could be a life-changing technology, because this is cutting-edge technology that is merged with traditional Chinese medicine, because we apply the patches on acupuncture points of the body, it's criminal. You're like Danielle said, it's like, I'm too afraid or I'm too lazy to share this knowledge that I have about these stem cells. So you die, you die, you die, you die, you die, you die. Okay, right now I'm in a better mood. So yeah, let me talk to this person about that. You get to live. You die, you die, you die, you die, you die. It's basically you're by omission, you are keeping a life-saving technology to someone. So I agree, it is criminal not to share this with anyone and everyone. And I have seen every single person that I have in my private practice who has started the stem cell therapy has had massive, massive results. Some of them feel the patches. I had an 86-year-old woman just a few days ago. We put the patch on her and her husband who both started the stem cell therapy. And she immediately, she's recouping. If you just joined us, please mute your phone. When she first had the stem cell patch, when I applied it to her, she said her eyes got big and she's like, oh my gosh, I feel a vibration going down my spinal cord. Now she's 86 years old and she's recovering from shingles. And so her husband, he just felt energy going up and down his legs. So not everybody's going to feel, about 20-30% don't feel anything. And but 100% of the people get the effect. We know from over 80 published research studies. They're independent research studies that show that just like everybody benefits from being out in the sun, your skin will automatically convert that sunlight into vitamin D in your blood. And so everyone gets a benefit from this. Babies, I say, if you have DNA, so if you're a human being, a dog, a cat, a horse, even a bird, if you're a mammal, you're going to benefit from this technology. So do you have parting words for us as we round up and let you go so that you can make your next appointment on time, Danielle?
I think there was a question in the chat about if I was on any MS prescriptions. Just quickly, I have managed to, and I can't recommend this for anyone, but I am on 5 different medications for my spasticity that I was taking 4 times a day that I am now taking only 1 time at night at bedtime. And I'm starting to take them out of my category. And then I do get a Rituxan infusion every 3 months. And I go coming up soon for my next one. I'm looking forward to that appointment because that appointment I will be walking into, and I don't think he's ever seen me out of my chair. So I am planning on having a very good visit there and looking forward to all the changes in my blood work and such. So, and I have a 6'4" Southern gentleman for a husband that he will leave the house and return after leaving. He'll come back 15, 20 minutes later and say, I forgot my patches. So he loves the energy enhancer and the X39.
Well, there you have it, my friends and gems. Beautiful Danielle Mann. And thank you. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I know you are now getting around even more so now that you're, you just keep on getting healthier and better and more energized, and your muscle mass is increasing. We know that the X49 stem cell patch increases lean muscle mass, bone density, helps you recuperate faster from exercise and so forth, and protects you against radiation. My friends and gems, if you'd like more information, just put something in the comments below. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I'm on Facebook. We're also on Telegram and on WhatsApp if you're interested in getting these stem cell patches. If you'd like to find out how you can get them at wholesale, which you can get double or triple the number of stem cell patches if you get a wholesale account, we can hook you up with that. Just contact the person who referred you to this broadcast. If you've been talking to Danielle, get in touch with Danielle. I'll put her contact information in the description below. You know where to get a hold of me. You can always get a hold of me here, not just on the YouTube channel, but on Facebook, facebook.com, Lillian I. Walker. I'm Dame Lillian Walker. You can comment on my most recent post, and then we can schedule a one-on-one so that we can give you some more information and see if this is something that you want to get started in. All right. Thank you again, Danielle. Have a great one. And we will talk to you really soon. And I love you. Love, love, love.